They say that if you're not the lead dog, the view never changes. But if all the dogs were in a circle, then there would be no lead dogs. What could draw these dogs together into one circle, you ask? Well, I think the answer is cereal. Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Empty Bowl, a meditative podcast about cereal. My name is Justin McElroy, and I am a cereal enthusiast.
And my name is Dan Goubert, and I am a cereal dreamscaper here on this program where we potentially woo you to sleep or lull you to sleep with sweet, dulcet breakfast tones.
Dulcet de leche.
Delicious.
Delicious. I am, we have let me explain the program. So you're going to listen to it. You're going to, it doesn't have to be a sleepy time for you. It could just be a time to relax and sit for approximately 30 minutes and do nothing but think about cereal and just trust that the world will still be there when you are done and that the problems can wait. The concerns can wait. Right now, you're taking a little time for you to think about cereal. We're going to do news. We got reviews. We have special segments, a whole bevy of entertainments for you. But let's not hesitate. Let's look forward into the future of cereal. Dan, what is going on in the world of cereal?
So we have a new recipe reformulation on our hands here. Some people were tweeting at me noticing how on their grocery website of choice, chocolate toast crunch appeared as out of stock, and they were very concerned that, one of their favorite toast crunches could be discontinued. But in sort of parallel news, which will probably explain this, stock shortage, we've seen that Chocolate Toast Crunch is debuting a new box that advertises having more cocoa flavor.
Sure.
Unfortunately, it seems a little hard to say whether this will be a good thing. If we think back to any number of recent cereals that tried to more something, they often end up tasting less.
Cocoa Puffs had a run at that, right?
Yeah, especially Cocoa Puffs is what I'm thinking of. They were talking about having more cocoa flavor, but it ended up tasting way less chocolatey. Cookie Crisp also tried adding more cookie flavor, which was kind of all right. It was more buttery, but still a bit less chocolatey. I think the only one in recent memory that really nailed something like this was Crave, when they did Crave with more chocolate. Mm-hmm. I think that's because when your chocolate is just a literal smear of milk chocolate there in the center, you can quite literally sort of pull out a ruler and see that it's actually double the amount of chocolate. Whereas something like a Chocolate Toast Crunch, it just feels like there's not enough transparency to know really what's being done with the cocoa content. Mm-hmm. It might be a question of, as with like honeycomb, this is like a push to use fewer artificial ingredients, but that kind of failed hard for both Trix and Honeycomb just because they weren't really clear always about what they were doing or why they were doing it, and a lot of people got up in arms about their favorite cereal kind of changing. So it's almost like a darned if they do, danged if they don't type situation. Yeah. I just say just add more chocolate, whole chips of it. Who really cares? Just go
best chocolate flavor. I think what I think best chocolate flavor in cereals. What I think about is Special K Chocolatey Delight.
Really,
like those big chunks of chocolate in Special K are really good. The other one that is actually really good is the Cereal School or Schoolyard Snacks. I guess they're called now. They have a really good chocolatey flavor on their proteiny cereal. It's very good.
Chocolate's a weird one where you can't really always differentiate between cocoa and like actual milk chocolate.
Well, Dan, Halloween's just around the bend is something I might say if it were true. we are entering the time when we will begin to talk about Halloween type cereals. We've gotten a glimpse of what Kellogg's going to be working on.
Yeah, it's like uncharacteristically early, and maybe it's just because the Monster cereal sort of cat has been let out of the trick-or-treat bag already that Kellogg's is rushing their announcement as well to show us what they're up to this Halloween season. And that is continuing their sort of past 5-year tradition of, releasing spooky editions of Frosted Flakes, Fruit Loops, and Apple Jacks, which I guess has kind of become their, refutation of the monster cereals and just doing their own thing with dressing up these core three, or technically four main mascots of Toucan Sam, Tony the Tiger, plus Apple and Cinnamon, to be the sort of anti-Chocula, the Nega Frankenberry and Shadow Booberry, as it were. And it's quite literally the case in this year because Toucan Sam is dressed as a vampire on the boxes, Tony is Frankenstein's monster, and both Apple and Cinnamon are ghosts. So if that wasn't weird enough, what's wild is that this whole sort of, dramatic interplay of doppelgangers is all occurring in the background of this year's boxes, which again feature, as is usually the case with these spooky Kellogg's cereals, a simple addition of monster-shaped marshmallows, shaped again this year like bats, Frankenstein's monster, and ghosts as well. But the main focus of this promo is a tie-in with the new Addams Family 2 movie, which is the second reboot movie of the franchise in the past couple years. And as is the case with these boxes, you can upload your receipt online to get a free digital download of the first movie. This is especially weird because you might remember that in 2019, the Addams Family partnered with the Monster cereals for digital pumpkin carving downloads.
Oh my God, yeah, I remember that.
So that family's really working with everyone in the biz.
It's kind of unusual that, like, obviously we've had actual Addams Family cereals before, but it seems kind of strange that or maybe just like a missed opportunity, that there haven't been more Addams like based cereals. Like they're a very resolute sort of IP. Like they are constantly being recycled and refreshed and renewed. Like it seems like that would be a really great fit for a cereal. Like so a character that never really goes out of style like that is still sort of relevant. Seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah, I was looking back at the 90s Addams Family cereal after reading about this, and that was released with Ralston, and it consisted of pieces shaped like headless dolls, spooky skulls, and thing-shaped pieces. It was advertised as having, quote, a mysterious flavor that you're going to love, and absolutely no other description besides that. So yeah, I don't know exactly what an ideal Addams Family cereal would even taste like, but I don't know if this is, the best use of their intellectual property, especially because these boxes, they kind of creep me out. I don't know if you looked at them. It's just the way that these like CGI characters are being very, very like detailed and closely rendered and have deadpan faces, very, very huge on the boxes, while the fun Kellogg's mascots are kind of just in the background. And
yeah, it's a weird graphic design. It's all very strange.
Yeah, so while the Monster cereals are out here having a good old time with their, big Monster Mash family rock band, Kellogg's is doing its own little cursed little graveyard dance.
Maybe they just decided that it's not worth trying to compete this year. That Monster Mash is going to really change everything.
Yeah, everything else is just second fiddle.
Yeah. What else is going on in the news front?
So we have another strangely early, extremely early look at something that is coming in Easter of 2022. This is another find from the recent Sweets and Snacks Expo. And so for Easter 2022, there are going to be Rice Krispies cereal and milk chocolate bunnies, continuing the trend set by Fruit Loops and Fruity Pebbles, which also had their own cereal-infused Easter chocolate bunnies, which when I was writing this up, it made me think, how has there not been a Trix chocolate bunny? That's so free.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking at it, it's just a milk chocolate bunny with Rice Krispies cereal pieces studded throughout, so it'll probably be like a Crunch Bar bunny and therefore probably good. I don't know, we got some time obviously now before we'd find out, but I'm sure it'll be a good basket builder.
Basket builder. Is this a concept that you just created?
Oh, it's an industry term.
Now that the future is firmly in our grasp, why don't we take a look at the world of cereal present and what's going on there, Dan?
So
tell me about reviews.
I finally got to try Cliff Bar cereals. We talked about these in the last episode. And
Do you want to know something, Dan? I tried Cliff Bar cereals too. How about
whoa, that's crazy. All 4 of them?
Blueberry is the one that I decided to give it a shot with.
Well, yeah, it's insane to me. Cliff, the company, was kind enough to send me all 4 flavors, which means I've been granted a deeper perspective on Cliff cereal than any other human ever may, because these are $7 cereals, and you really, really don't need to buy all of them, is what I'd say. But in my experience, I definitely recommend buying maybe one of them, because I did really enjoy all of them. I was expecting something similar to the other bar-based cereals that came out recently, the Kind Bar cereal, the Lara Bar cereal, and probably these new RX Bar cereals that were just spotted this week as well. But the reason I think the Cliff cereals are better is that, all these bar cereals are trying to come across as very energizing, very all-natural, clean formulation, etc., etc., but where Lara Bar and Co. are trying to do this by really minimizing the ingredients list, Cliff cereals actually got a lot going on. They're really good for one nutty, buttery reason, and it's certainly not the omnigrain, wheat, quinoa, sorghum, buckwheat flakes. Yeah, so all 4 of the Cliff Bar flavors have these, what they're calling jumbles in them. And they're called jumbles because all these cereals already have granola oat clusters in them, and they needed a new name for something like that. So as opposed to the oat clusters, they all have these jumbles of crispy rice, nuts, and pumpkin seeds that are then jumbled up with a specific nut butter. Out of the 4 Cliff cereals, there are 2 peanut butter and 2 almond butter cereals. And I think these jumbles really rock, but not all 4 rock evenly. I found that the peanut butter flavors, which are chocolate peanut butter and honey peanut butter, were very universally lovable. Chocolate peanut butter, to be fair, was not at the same level of a Nature's Path Love Crunch chocolate PB in terms of, a delightfully devilish menagerie of creamy fudginess. But honey peanut butter really stood out to me for how well, honey and peanut butter as these similar-ish golden brown gooey flavors got together really well. But you tried the blueberry one. The blueberry almond butter. What did you think of that?
I really, really liked it. I think that the blueberry almond is a great combo for breakfast time, or I guess anytime. One of the things that really stood out to me that I dug was that the blueberries, if you compare to like a blueberry morning or something like that, were like very substantial. Like these didn't feel like sort of faint wisps of the idea of blueberries, but rather like blueberries that were slightly dehydrated to make shipping easier. But once you've like rehydrated them, they actually have much more similarity to like actual blueberries. So I dug that. It's very hearty. I will say, like, we can't speak to like the nutritional aspects of these. I have no idea. All the the sourcing of the ingredients and the nutritional makeup or whatever. It feels very dense, though. I will say, like, this is like it's hearty. It's the kind of thing where like a handful out of the box is like pretty good in terms of like I get it now. It's very satisfying. But I really liked it. I mean, I was very impressed.
Yeah, I agree. I think in my box it was a little lacking on the quantity of blueberries, and also
could have used a few more of those. Yes, yeah, for sure.
Also for the 2 almond butter varieties, I was kind of thrown by the fact that they have whole almonds in there. Like every other almond themed cereal I've had in the past either uses like almond extract for flavoring, or they have these piddly little almond slivers. But the inclusion of like actual whole almonds is a real jaw exercise that I wasn't necessarily expecting. But still not bad if you're an almond fan.
Yeah.
The apple cinnamon almond butter, which is the final flavor, I actually think had the best sort of jumbles out of all 4 because they were very, apple buttery as well as almond buttery. So got a lot of butter going on.
Dan, if I can ask a personal question.
Please.
How many fruity cereal Kit Kats do you own?
Well, I only just found them yesterday at Walmart finally, and they come in these. Well, they make it look like it's one giant brick cat of like a giant 2x4 of Kit Kats, but it's really just 12 snack-sized Kit Kats crammed together in one. So I'm in possession of. Well, I'm down to 8 out of 12 now, based on how many I've eaten. So.
So I'm guessing you like them.
I think they're good. I think they're, first of all, they're really, really cute and appealing visually. They're this very rosy pink with the sort of fruity bits speckled throughout. They're kind of like these rectangularly prismed tutti frutti jelly beans, if you know that aesthetic. But I think the taste overall was also really, really fun. They're kind of like a creamy smoothie made of Trix and Fruit Loops. It's kind of a flavor, though, at the same time that really defies conventional description. I am glad that they sold them only in these snack-sized bits, because it's something that's a little too strange to, be worth a king-sized Kit Kat bar. But if you, are having a party sometime soon or got some people coming over, I think this is a great, super fun candy bowl filler and a very great addition to both the lineage of cereal-flavored candies as well as, the off-kilter Kit Kat varieties available out there.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. I'm going to try to seek those out. Sounds good. Now, Captain Crunch treats. I would love to get your take on these. I thought, wait, did we not discuss these last time? Had I tried them and you hadn't? What's the deal?
Well, we got our whole sort of treasure chest worth of things from Captain Crunch himself, and I think we left these out of last week's episode.
Okay.
Just because we were spending so much time talking about the chocolate caramel crunch. And I also think we kind of left them out for good reason, and that good reason being there isn't really a good reason to say much about them. Like, when I imagine a cereal bar, I picture a gobbed up bunch of cereal pieces bound together by a nice sweet sugary goo. And these Captain Crunch treats, which first of all come in both peanut butter crunch and Captain Crunch's Crunch Berries varieties, even though technically it's an Oops All Berries bar, for being particular. These treats mix cereal pieces with these pretty bland and flavorless Rice Crisps as filler. And what really struck me is there's not even that solid floor layer of sugary goo that you'd expect, that everything else is sort of built atop. And I just thought that in a world where we're getting Golden Grahams, s'mores, soft-baked cereal bars, Captain Crunch treats kind of feel like a relic of a bygone era. I don't know what you thought.
Yeah, similar. It's like they're good, but in a way that's like I can't really be compelled to care about.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like, oh, this is good. I will say this. There is not that. It's sort of the inverse of what I was talking about with the Cliff Bar cereal, where like I eat one of these and I feel like, oh, I'll eat another one. I would eat another one.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like, there is no way do I want, and it's not like something where like you're going to line up 10 cereal bars and just house them. You know what I mean? It doesn't like satisfy the urge. The chew is not like, first off, the size, the portions are just like not enough, I feel like, to make it like a satisfying treat, but also just the texture itself. I think the quantity of rice probably plays into that, where it's like it feels very airy and light, but also sort of insubstantial.
Yeah, I just don't see any reason to pick these over like an actual handful of Captain Crunch straight out of the box.
Or even, Dan, and this is what I always say with these things, or just like melt a little marshmallow and butter yourself and mix in some Captain Crunch. You're going to get especially if you get a little brown butter action going in there, a little salt, you're going to have a much more like solid, satisfying product than you would with these bars.
Yeah, you really are a virtuoso when it comes to the homemade cereal bars. So
I love it. What better way to use up cereal, we every week will ask you a question, something that you would like us to discuss, or something that you have a take on. This week we asked you a fun one. We asked you to tell us about a cereal that you remember fondly, but nobody else seems to recall. What would you a sleeper, a cult classic, but you're the only one in the cult, I guess. A one-person cult classic. But we asked you about that, and we'd love to hear your responses, which we will now at this exact moment.
Hi, Dan and Justin. This is Jasper, they, them, from Maryland. To me, the unsung hero of childhood cereal that few people seem to remember is actually not a cereal, but the strawberry milk they would serve at my elementary school. Picture this, it's too early in the morning, you're in the school cafeteria at a plastic table with a bunch of other 8-year-olds. You're tired and confused because you're a kid and it's the morning, but you're not grumpy, because you get to open up that little plastic bowl of Rice Krispies and pour on just the most unnaturally pink milk you've ever seen. It tastes like candy and happiness and gets soggy in like 5 minutes, but by then you've eaten it all anyway. And, of course, the best part, drinking the milk. There was just no way to start your day quite like that oh-so-special strawberry milk. Thank you so much, Dan and Justin, for your wonderful podcast.
Hello, Dan and Justin. This is Haley from California. She, her pronouns. A cereal that nobody seems to talk about or remember for me personally is Kashi's Mighty Bites. The reason why I still remember these is because they were the ones that were shaped like little dudes. I'd like to see if they're still there, but I haven't seen them on shelves. To be fair, I haven't really been looking for them. But it was nice to think about them again. Thank you so much for the podcast.
Hi, Dan and Justin. This is Jordan from Connecticut. The cereal that I'd love to see come back that is quite literally a blast from the past would be Buzz Blasts. It was a Toy Story Buzz Lightyear cereal that was purple and green. It had graham pieces in the shape of rocket ships, aliens, and Buzz from Toy Story. It was paired with green and purple UFOs. It was made with corn and oat flour, apparently. Such unique shapes, textures, colors, and overall concept. Please bring them back. Thank you for your podcast.
First off, great job on being soothing, everybody. That was wonderful. Dan, do you have one of these that sort of like sticks out to you?
Yeah, well, first of all, I was really enthralled by Haley's answer because I had never heard of Kashi Mighty Bites either, but I looked them up, and I cannot believe that they literally have these little dude pieces. They're like actual crunchy stick figures. And I just know that as a kid I would have, set them up in a diorama to play with the Digimon toys or whatever else I had. But my cult classic cereal is also a Kashi cereal, and that would be Kashi Honey Sunshine, which was around for a while and kind of just quietly disappeared. But it was these little golden honey squares that just had incomparable, like, melt in your mouthness that I really, really enjoyed, and nobody else seems to feel that way. Did you have one of these cult cereals?
Oh my God, I had a lot actually. One was the two that stood out to me. The first was Kenmai Rice Bran. Did you ever have this one? Probably not. Came out in the 90s, like very early 90s. I remember going to sleep over at Josh Jobst. You know Josh Jobst?
Oh, right.
That I went to school. I was over at Josh Jobst's house, and it was a crispy brown rice flakes was the idea. Sort of like a heartier Special K would be like the best, sort of like with maybe a bit more malted flavor to it.
Sure.
Really good. Yeah, it was a very good cereal that I very much enjoyed. The other one was Fingos. Do you know about Fingos?
You're supposed to eat them with your fingers, right?
It was a cereal. It's such a wild idea. It was a cereal with pieces that are like big, and you were not supposed to eat them in like a bowl with milk. You would open them up like a thing of chips and eat them like they were more like cracker sized, but you're designed to. And they came in little pouches, and you're designed to eat them with your hands. It was Fingos.
Way ahead of their time compared to jumbo snacks, eh?
I mean, it's the exact same. It's the exact same premise. I mean, but it's just like we didn't need anybody to tell us that we could eat the cereal with our hands.
Right.
Like it just reeks of like the marketing meeting where somebody's like, "People are eating these things with their hands. We should just give the people."
And also forbid them from using milk at the same time.
Yeah. You want to hear? Hold on a second. I pulled up. We never do this, but I did want to share. I was trying to reminisce, so I pulled up an ad for Fingos. Can I play a 30-second spot real quick?
Please.
Introducing me, Fingos, the wholesome new cereal made to eat with your fingers. How wholesome am I? Read my hips. I'm low in fat and so nutritious. So bye-bye bowl, so long spoon. Now, all you need to enjoy cereal anytime you want are these. Hey, am I good or what?
New Fingos, the wholesome cereal made to eat with your fingers in cinnamon and honey toasted oat.
It's just so wild.
Wow.
It is so wild.
Makes me
It's
think
so
we need a
wild.
nice, gentle bass riff and some bongos going behind our podcast.
Yeah. Do you have any questions in your head, Dan? Anything that you'd like to touch on?
I did think of a good one not too long ago.
Tell me.
So, dear listeners, if you could have cereal with anyone from history, who would it be? And what cereal do you think they would eat?
I love that.
Yeah.
That's great. You can go to bowl.rest, and there's a little thing there to leave us a message. If you want to hook up a microphone, that's great, or you can just use a phone. Whatever. As long as you keep the tone calm, then I think it all works. Dan, you have a lovely idea here, profiling cereal through the lens, or dare I say it, the prism of different colors. And I think you've come up with the idea of starting with purple, and I love that. If we could talk about purple related cereal memories. Obviously, it's not the most neglected color in cereal. That's orange. We all know orange cereal is illegal.
Mm-hmm.
But tell me about your purple cereal memories.
Yeah, so I'm borrowing this idea of a segment from another podcast I admire called, of course, the Purple Stuff Podcast, which is sort of a nostalgia-based podcast by the blogger Matt from Dinosaur Dracula, as well as Jay from Sludge Central, both of which big inspirations for me starting my blog as well as this podcast. And they will occasionally do episodes focused entirely on color themes. And I thought it'd be a good way to start with purple. So, yeah, like you said, it's not the most underrepresented cereal box color, but you do tend to see that most boxes in the cereal aisle are either red, yellow, or brown to go with the popular flavors of fruity, honey, or chocolate. But there are a lot of purple boxes, and I'm going to cast aside sort of the low-hanging fruit like Raisin Bran or Raisin Bran Crunch, or even my near and dear Trader Joe's organic Raisin Bran clusters. And I dug even deeper, dug past the purple pieces in Neopets Island Berry Crunch, and dug past the purple Donatello Smiles and TMNT cereal to find probably one of the most, I wouldn't say beautiful, but certainly awe-inspiring cereal boxes of all time, and that would be Millennios. Do you remember Millennios?
No. Oh, that was a Cheerios variant, right?
Yeah, so they came out in 1999, of course, right around the turn of the century, and they made this really big deal about them literally just adding the number 2 into a cereal that already kind of looked like zeros, so very conveniently spelled out the year 2000 in every bowlful. But what really struck me was just how much looking at this box looks like, actual Y2K happening to your eyeballs. It's pretty insane.
It's horrid.
You've got a giant globe in the middle, like the planet Earth, surrounded by this really iridescent purple supernova that seems to be ready to swallow all of existence. And instead, you've just got this really sparkling, twinkling bowl of Millennios cereal, as well as the proclamation that Millennios is the official cereal of the new millennium, which really struck me to think about that, anything that's happened in the past 2 decades has occurred during this cosmic age of Millennios. So we really have that cereal harbinger to thank for, everything that we do on a daily basis. It's our world, it's Millennios' world, and we're just sort of floating in it. Did you have a purple cereal memory to?
I wanted to profile like one of my favorite concepts in cereal that is now completely neglected, and that's the split box.
I know where you're going
cereal.
with this.
Specifically here, I'm thinking about Nerds.
Yes.
Nerds cereal, much like the candy itself, was, and I don't know, Nerds are still like this, I imagine, but you open one side and you're going to get one flavor. You open the other side, you're going to get another flavor. And the cereal was the same concept. There would be two bags in each box, and you would open up and pour, either some, what was it, orange out of one side and cherry on the other, or grape and strawberry, I think were the other two. But you could, these just like tiny, super colorful, fantastic little cereals that had that, and there's something about that concept. The only other variation I can think, or the only other example of it right now that I can think of, is the Nintendo cereal system, where you would have like a bag of Mario and a bag of Zelda in each one, which I just love the idea that it's like they haven't adapted a video game, they've adapted a video game console. Like the concept of that as a cereal, but yeah, that when you said purple cereal, that was what leapt into my mind.
Yeah, the sort of twin bagged cereal approach weirdly has not been done. I think it's funny though that of all cereals, Original Fiber One actually uses 2 bags inside every box, but they're both filled with the same cereal. So it's incredibly unclear to me why they do that, and why.
That's a great question. I don't know.
Yeah, why couldn't they do like, all Fiber One in one half, and then all Cinnamon Toast Crunch in the other half for a true balanced breakfast? But I did have one other purple cereal to chime in here with, and it goes along with Grape Nerd's cereal very well, and that would be the classic Sir Grape Fellow cereal from the 70s. This is a real throwback, certainly before my time. And grape cereals as well as orange cereals are definitely a dying breed, obviously not counting raisins. And I think the Sir Grape Fellow concept, aside from having a very beautiful lavender box, which is my favorite shade of purple, he also was paired with another cereal, Baron von Redberry, and they were supposed to be World War I pilots, which just astounds me to this day that there was ever a war-themed cereal. And I'm kind of glad that's not in vogue anymore, but I do think we could go for another good grape cereal.
I also want to give a brief shout out to Disney Magic cereal, which it's just a lovely box. It's a lovely cereal. It turns your milk blue. Has a big Mickey. I'm a Disney diehard, so seeing like I love that a cereal that really is just supposed to capture that like Sorcerer's Apprentice Mickey vibe that is so prevalent throughout the brand.
Yeah, something about purple can just get very sorcerous and ethereal, and I love it.
So that is our show. Thank you so much for listening to it and for joining us. We hope you've enjoyed yourself. We mentioned our website, bowl.rest. That is a great place to go if you want to listen to the show. If you want to share the link with someone, that's a fine way to do it. You can also click the button there to support us. You can pledge $1, $5, or $10 a month. Half of that goes to keep fearlessly.net running, and half of it goes to people experiencing homelessness in my tri-state region. Dan, it occurs to me that sometimes people use this show to fall asleep, and maybe they never make it that far. I mean, we should put it at the beginning sometimes.
That is fair. Maybe it's influencing their dreams, though.
Sleep With Me does that. They put that at the beginning, and I now I'm just in this exact moment. It's occurred to me why they do that. But yeah, if you could do that, that would be great, because you're probably one of just a handful of people that are still with us. Anything else, Dan?
We'd like to thank Chris Zabriskie for his opening theme of The Sun is Scheduled to Come Out Tomorrow, Bria Davis for doing our wonderful podcast branding, Samuel Rardin for designing our recent empty bowl enamel pin, which will hopefully be back in stock soon. And also, if you'd like to send us any questions, any cereal-related memories, or other bits of ephemera, you can reach us at mail@bowl.rest.
Thank you so much for listening, and until next time, as always, don't forget to drink the milk. Okay, it's just me that time.
Oh, I mean,
okay.
well, I'm eating Fingos over here, so there's no milk to speak of.
Excellent.